Breathe in, breathe out, wax on, wax off.
Welcome to this episode of The Good, the Bad and the Odd with your hosts Mark and Sam. Hi Sam.
Hello there.
Now we're doing this kind of a special episode this time. We've basically been cramming the Cobra Kai, right? We have sat together and watched all of Cobra Kai, all 6 seasons so far. Well, all 5 seasons in the sixth season. There's only 5 episodes out at the minute.
First part of it.
So we've watched the first part of it. And on the back of that, we also, before we even started Cobra Kai, we watched the first 3 Karate Kids. And then for completion's sake, we watched the 4th Karate Kid called The Next Karate Kid, and also the remake, or the reboot, redo, whatever you want to call it, of the Karate Kid from 2010. So we are doing a show about the Karate Kid universe, pretty much. I think we've watched pretty much everything except there was a cartoon series that came out in 1989. We haven't watched that. No. Apparently there's some DC comics. There's like a DC comic of the Karate Kid as well. From some era as well. How about that? That's a bit weird, right? And I'm going to call this episode The Good, the Bad and the Badass, because that was the name of one of the cool Cobra Kai episodes. And it stuck. It stuck. So let's get started with the first film. First film, directed by John G. Avildsen, who directed Rocky. And you can tell, right?
Yeah.
There's a lot of Rocky in this. A lot of it feels like Junior Rocky.
Mainly because Daniel LaRusso just kind of acts like Rocky does.
Yeah.
Most of it. So
I'm okay, you're okay. It's all that kind of stuff. You know, all that. Stars Pat Morita as Mr. Miyagi. Classic character, right? Elizabeth Shue is Ali, and William Zabka is Johnny Lawrence. And essentially it's a bully story, isn't it? He's being bullied. Mr. Miyagi kind of starts to help him out. Now, what's your general feeling on this one?
I quite liked it. It's the first time watching it for me.
Yeah.
So like it's kind of weird seeing like all the stuff I know about it is like just not really.
Yeah.
Like
the memes are, I guess, a wax on, wax off, right? That's about it.
That's like one of 5 lessons.
Yes.
See.
Yeah.
So.
And also, this was scored by Bill Conti, who I believe scored Rocky as well. So there was that. I really like this film. I find it a kind of deeply satisfying film, right? It's something really, and I feel really happy watching it. I think that it's the Miyagi LaRusso connection. It really works well in this film. I can see why this film was a hit. I have to say the rest of the cast are good as well. But the cast's good. Elizabeth Shue as Ali is great. Really, really impactful. You remember her. We watched loads of other stuff, but we remember Ali quite distinctly, right?
Yeah.
Because she's really good in this. And of course, Johnny Lawrence, William Zabka, who's pretty good. And then we got the shit-heel karate instructor, John Kreese, who is a total psycho in this film. And he's not much better.
He's always a total psycho.
Yeah. Also, we got the Cobra Kai gang. Bobby, Tommy, Jimmy, Dutch. And they keep picking on Daniel LaRusso. And there's a famous scene where they're dressed as skeletons from the Halloween party where they start kicking the crap out of him. And Mr. Miyagi. This is the point where he steps in and starts... first, he...
Beating ass.
Kicks their asses. And then he tries to help Daniel out because Daniel says, look, can you train me? And he goes with Daniel to the dojo, Cobra Kai dojo, and they agree to a deal, which is his students will leave Daniel alone until the tournament, and they got like 2 months till this tournament, so he's got to basically learn a load of karate in 2 months. And we see the famous Mr. Miyagi technique, which is muscle memory, right? Just using wax on, wax off, paint on, paint off, paint up, paint down. What's the other one? Sanding, isn't it?
Yeah.
Sanding. Which is pretty much wax on, wax off, really. Yeah.
It's just inverted wax on, wax off.
Yeah.
Just the other sort of circular.
It's the other movement, yeah. So we get that. And there's kind of a budding romance between Ali and Daniel that works quite well. But Johnny Lawrence is her ex-boyfriend who's really upset about it, right? And acts like a dick, really, with his mates.
He's chasing Daniel down on his bike.
Yeah.
Well, Daniel's on a bike, he's on a motorbike. So this doesn't go well.
And it kind of also ties into the fact that Daniel doesn't really like LA. He likes, Jersey. He's a Jersey boy. Yeah. So there is all that. But you know what? I forgot. Excuse me. Ralph Macchio is really good in this. It really works well. And Pat Morita is an excellent Mr. Miyagi. There were some other actors considered for both roles, but I just don't think they would have been as good. For example, Toshiro Mifune was considered for Mr. Miyagi. It probably would have worked, but I really like Pat Morita in this. I just think he's really, really good. Yeah, so this was a solid film. We really enjoyed this. And, well, in terms of Cobra Kai, you do have to watch this, really, to get the
this is the most important one for you to watch.
Yeah, and I'd say 3's the next most important one. Though I think all the first 3 are important.
The original sort of trilogy. Yeah. The LaRusso trilogy. Are necessary for watching.
Some of the actors considered for Daniel, get this, are Robert Downey Jr., Emilio Estevez, Nicolas Cage, Tom Cruise. That sounds nuts. Yeah, that doesn't sound right at all. But yeah, and so on. So yeah, I thought this was an excellent film. And apparently the role of Johnny was cast, they considered Crispin Glover from Back to the Future, which I can't see that at all. I think William Zabka's really quite good as this. And apparently during his audition, William Zabka's audition, Macchio said that Zabka scared him at the audition. He didn't have any karate training, though you wouldn't know it from this. He was a wrestler. He was a wrestler.
Okay. Yeah.
So yeah, and apparently he properly got into character whenever he did auditions, or so they really liked him because of that. So yes. So yeah, this was just great. And apparently Elizabeth Shue was cast on the basis of a Burger King commercial. A popular Burger King commercial. But she's a great actress. I mean, she's an Oscar winner, I think, now. So yeah. And the fight choreography was very good.
Yeah, I'd say. That was really good.
Yeah. It was just a solid film. Let's give it a quick rating. This is a 5 out of 5 for me, personally.
Yeah, it's an easy 8, 9 out of 10.
Yeah, very solid film. So that's the first movie. The second one, Karate Kid 2. Now, this transplants the action to Okinawa, right?
Yeah.
Basically, they beat Kreese. We kind of, do we see Kreese on the skids a bit in this? Okay. Certainly, we see the after the tournament.
Yeah, we see the immediate aftermath of the tournament, where we see basically all the characters return for this one scene. So you've still got William Zabka and Elizabeth Shue showing up. But this is all that they appear in the film, and it's just a kind of a follow up on Kreese mostly.
Yeah, Kreese has gone mental because he lost, and he starts choking out Johnny Lawrence, doesn't he?
Yeah.
Mr. Miyagi steps in and makes him punch. Basically, doesn't even throw a punch. He just wrong foots Kreese to punch in 2 car windows and bloody both fists, right?
Yeah.
And because he turned mad and physically strangled Johnny, all the students leave. We later find out. But in the meantime, Mr. Miyagi finds out his father's dying and he wants to go back to Okinawa. And Ralph Macchio somehow gets, I can't remember the mechanics to this, but he basically stumps up for a ticket. I think it's his college fund, right?
Yeah.
To fly with him because Mr. Miyagi supported him. And this was, I apparently had more mixed reviews. I thought it was good. Actually.
Yeah, I really like this one. I think it's maybe my favourite of the 3.
Yeah, I think this is a very solid film. And it's higher stakes. This isn't just a tournament. This is life and death kind of thing, right? And also, it was a very successful film, despite the critic mixed reviews. Became one of the highest grossing films of 1986. So they've gone to Okinawa. So we see a lot of Mr. Miyagi in his natural habitat, and we find out he escaped Okinawa because of like a love triangle.
Yeah, he got into a bit of a love triangle with one of the fellow students at his father's karate.
Yeah,
That's
who also has since had got a lot of power over the village and stuff like that. And he finds out the girl that they sort of fell out about, never got married. As well. In addition, the man we talked about, Sato, the nemesis, the big bad, as it were, has basically a nephew,
a henchman, his nephew,
chosen, who's a right dickhead too, and throwing his way about, and because also Danny, Ali broke it off, or they argued about something stupid, right?
When he walks in, it's literally the scene transition is them walking away from Kreese getting beaten up, and then it cuts to Daniel on his way back from prom in like a crash. He's crashed his car, the car that Miyagi gave him.
Yeah,
and he blames that on Ali, and then says that she was hooking up with some other guy.
Yeah.
We later find out there's some differences to that story.
Yes,
but that's just how he interprets.
It's just a hothead. Daniel LaRusso is a hothead, right? He is certainly in these early films. Anyway, he kind of starts having a thing with one of the girls of the village who's a dancer and teaches the children dancing, traditional Japanese dancing. Chosen kind of is a very big antagonist, and he is as karate expert.
He's probably the most brutal of the antagonists.
Yeah, he is scary brutal. Anyway, Sato has basically wrecked the village because he had a fleet of trawlers that overfished the waters, which meant that they couldn't be fishermen anymore.
So now they're
forced to rent from
themselves.
him. And he's kind of buying the crop from them, and we find out at one point Chosen appears to be cheating them, but we worked out during the film, and this does come up later, that he actually uses lighter weights, which means he's paying more money than he should. So in fact, he's got it backwards. He actually was paying more than he should. Mr. Miyagi father, eventually dies, and Sato gives him 3 days to mourn, and then they're going to fight. And also we see Sato. Isn't there a visit to Sato, and he's got this massive
Miyagi
piece of wood?
Goes to visit Sato. It's like we don't need to do this. Like nothing good will come of this.
Yeah.
And Sato has like a whole thing about honor. And he's been trying to chop this big piece of wood that he says him and Miyagi found in like one time.
When they were teenagers, right?
Yeah.
So he's got it in his back garden, set up in a special thing, just constantly trying to chop it. And it's really big. It is really big and so on. We also get introduced to this. In these films, they always introduce something a bit different about the training or karate.
Yeah.
In this one, it's like a drum. One of these little handheld drums that you twist, and the balls on string kind of hit the drum.
Yeah. Now, when we were first watching it, I thought, oh, okay, this is going to tie into Miyagi's like healing technique that he showed off.
But it's actually a karate move.
Where he claps his hands and then rubs them.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, okay, that's where he got that from. Then nope, brought up, not even related.
Yeah. So Daniel's kind of hanging around with this girl, Kumiko, right? And Mr. Miyagi is also sort of becoming reacquainted with his love of his life that he ran away from. Basically there's a lot of bad blood.
Happy.
There's a lot of bad blood, but then eventually, and there's a bit of vandalism, bullying, all of that stuff. Essentially, Sato is kind of going to bulldoze the village unless Miyagi agrees to fight him. Yeah. And Miyagi agrees. And Danny says, come on, let's just fly away. You don't have to do this. This is to the death. It's to the death kind of thing.
Yeah.
And he goes, no, I've already won. I've saved the village. We don't lose this fight. It doesn't matter. I've saved the village. Which is very
because he's
Miyagi,
basically, right? He says to us, it's like, I'll give you your fight if you agree right now to give them back the ownership of the village, no matter the outcome. and you give them back before we fight. So it's like, okay, yeah. I'll
so
do that.
Miyagi is content with what he's done. However, before the fight, a typhoon
just
strikes
rolls
the
in.
village, and devastation everywhere. Sato's own dojo collapses, and he's trapped in it.
With
but
him
Miyagi,
in it. So
Miyagi finds him, and he's got a big block over his chest.
easily as big as the one he was chopping.
Yeah, Miyagi raises his hand to chop, and could it be he's going to kill Sato? But he chops the wood and saves him, which would have caved in his chest. But
but let's kind of ignore that. So he's they've kind of like forgiven each other in this race.
Sato, because Miyagi saves Sato and he realises the error of his ways, he says, "Don't want to fight." However. There's a little girl caught out in the storm, and Sato says to Chosen, "Go help," and Chosen scared, he doesn't go. Yeah. So Daniel goes out and saves the little girl, which means Chosen's shamed, but Sato's ashamed of his nephew, disowns him. So Chosen's lost everything. So there's a little Sato returns, asks for Miyagi's forgiveness. There's a lot of forgiveness. He says he's going to rebuild the village and give them the title. And there's a special festival in this, this castle ruins that we've been in. Was earlier in the film. It's kind of cool. There's some cool stuff in there. And there's a big fight. Basically there's a
celebration. And then Chosen zip lines in.
It's amazing.
He comes in this big yellow gi, and he's like, I'm going to fight you to the death. And he's holding Kumiko hostage with a knife. It's just like, you're going to get on this platform, Daniel, and then we're going to fight to the death. They do it.
And Daniel manages to beat him by... Mr. Miyagi does the drum technique right at the vital moment and reminds him what karate is all about. And he beats him, and he's got Chosen on his knees, and he says, "Live or die, man, live or die." And Chosen goes, "Die." And he goes, "Honk!" And just grabs his nose.
Honks his nose.
Which is what Miyagi did to Kreese at the beginning of the film. So it's a nice circular referencing. Very effective film. In many ways as good as the first one. And you prefer it, right? I
prefer this one.
I prefer the first a little, but it's close. But I'm very apt to watch this straight after watching the first one. And I feel like it actually works really well as a double bill, these two. You could just watch both, and it's all fine. So, again, pretty enjoyable. I'd give this maybe a 9 this time. And what would you give it?
Yeah, easily a 9.
9, yeah. All right, so that brings us to the, Karate Kid 3. In some ways, my favourite, but it is totally crazy. This is a crazy film. It's kind of... All right. Karate Kid 1 and 2 are like Rocky 1 and 2, whereas this is Rocky 4.
This is more of a sequel to the original Karate Kid instead of a continuation of Karate Kid 2.
Yeah, that's true.
So we basically, in the introductory flashbacks, we only really see footage from the first movie and the confrontation at the end of at the start of part 2.
Yeah.
So it follows John Kreese nearly a year after. I think they say it was 6 months after the events of the first film, and he's basically destitute.
Yeah,
he's
all the students have left. He's he's hitting the beer. It looks like
he's not able to pay his bills, despite sort of owning the dojo, maybe his power and utilities, but let's ignore that. So he goes to see his
silent partner we didn't know about.
Yeah, he was a silent partner and also served with him in Vietnam.
Yeah,
Terry Silver. This local psychopathic millionaire.
Yeah. Now this is played by Thomas Ian Griffith. This is his film debut.
Yeah.
Apparently. Wow. Silver is quite fantastic, actually.
He's a personality.
I'd say.
Yeah.
He's fantastic. He is such a bad guy. He is so evil, and he loves being evil, right? He just loves it.
In his introductory scene, he starts whinging about how difficult it is to dispose of nuclear waste anymore because so many people are keeping an eye on it.
Complaining.
Like, I used to be
what's
able
it
to
called?
just drop
What's
it anywhere. Dynatox.
Dynatox is his company name, yeah. Now, when this came out, mostly negative reviews, but it did okay. It did okay in the what's it. Though some of the critics did praise Thomas Ian Griffiths for his performance. Ralph Macchio just becomes a blabbering idiot, mostly.
Yes,
his character
yes.
becomes... He just
will not
moans
stop
and whines, and oh, God, it just goes on. And
It's
again, he's lost the
stream
girl.
of consciousness. Yeah.
Kumiko's got a better job.
Yeah, she got a job and she couldn't really turn it down.
Yeah.
So he's just let her go, and we actually see you see Daniel's mother again for like first time in two
with
movies.
Uncle Louis coughing and hacking in a deathbed behind her. It's amazing during the phone call. And it's not in the hospital; it's in his house.
No, he's in his home. He's in like the front room.
Yeah. I really like this one. I have to say, it's just nuts. There's a hench kids. There's Mike Bad Boy Barnes.
Yeah, your favourite character.
International karate champ who's a real shit heel. He's the bad boy karate. But Silver's got this convoluted plan to get revenge. Basically, he becomes obsessed with getting revenge for that 17-year-old lad in a valley tournament. This billionaire gets kind of obsessed with it.
Yeah.
He's off his head on coke or something. I mean,
well, this is literally stated when he comes back in. So Mike Barnes is a national champ, right? So there is that. So he's known for being a shit heel and having no sportsmanship as well. Yeah. And also he's got a little assistant that Silver provides called Snake. There's Snake and Dennis.
Dennis.
It's like Snake will help you with everything, and Dennis he'll train you.
He'll be
like
training
this like greaser-looking guy is going to train the national karate champion.
Yeah, I don't quite get it. Basically, he sets up Daniel to fall out with Mr. Miyagi, be terrorised by these young toughs, as it were, and come to him for advice. And at that point, he starts showing him really vicious ways of fighting. But it means that Daniel's hurting himself doing these techniques. And in fact, when he talks to John Kreese, he goes, "Got any requests?" John Kreese is like, "Make him bleed."
Or make Silver's his knuckles bleed.
Silver's like, "Oh, I like that." And also, this guy is such an 80s douchebag. He's kind of got this old lady as a PA doing these letters for him. And he's sitting in the bath doing that. And then Mike Barnes comes in. He conducts meetings in the bath. In a bubble bath. It's so nuts. Silver also introduces himself as apologises for Kreese and saying, "We do not believe Kreese had slipped off the way, it's been disrespectful."
Yeah, and he also tells them that Kreese died.
They tell him Kreese died. And there's also some shenanigans which kind of work, but it's kind of goofy, about a bonsai tree being planted in a place called the Devil's Cauldron to protect it, and Daniel goes and gets it because he needs to get money. Oh yeah, we should say he threw in his college fund and got a lease for Mr. Miyagi's little trees. A shop for Mr. Miyagi. And Mr. Miyagi, because he decides he wants to do the tournament. Mr. Miyagi says, "I'm not training for tournament. I train for honour. I train for life, not training for a tournament." Right?
Yeah,
karate mean nothing if we do that. But then he's getting terrorised and Daniel's like, "Oh, I won't join." And then these thugs start terrorising him to be. Yeah,
they keep running up and like smashing up the shop and being like, "When are you going to sign up for the tournament, LaRusso?" It's like, what the fuck is this?
Yeah, and they also get a bit rapey. They're kind of like, maybe if you don't turn up, it'll be the worst day of your life, and for your friends. Yeah. It's fuck.
His friend who's Robin Lively,
Robin Lively,
pottery shop across the road.
Yeah, she. Now originally it was a romance, but Ralph Macchio just got married and he didn't want any romance stuff.
Also he was 27 and she was 17.
Yeah, it was a bit much. Anyway, it was rewritten, so they stayed friends. So that was a non-romance. Yeah. She's pretty good. She's likeable. Yeah, she does a good job, but it's clearly this should have been. This was written to be a romance, and they had to rewrite bits so it wasn't.
Yeah.
Basically, Silva has turned Daniel a bit vicious, and he feels bad.
He sets
about
up whole scenarios where he's going to be like attacked.
Yeah.
And either Silva comes and saves him, or he's kind of forced to use Silva's methods to resolve the situation.
Yeah. But then once they go to Silva and they sort of say, "No, I'm thank you for your time. I'm not doing it." He goes, "No, there's not that." And Silva's like, "No, Danny boy, you can't walk away." And then Kreese turns up, jumps out.
Kreese and Barnes
bad boy
show
Barnes.
up. Yeah. And then we see probably the only time Miyagi gets in a full-on fight in these three films.
Yeah.
Where he beats up Barnes and Kreese and Silva.
And you remember Barnes is a national champion, and Kreese and Silva.
But Silva and Kreese are like Vietnam veterans who have been trained. So we later find out by like one of the most brutal karate practitioners ever.
Yeah. So eventually it turns into a tournament, does it? Because they've got no choice.
They just kind of.
Daniel's scared, and he gives Miyagi gives a proper Miyagi speech. It's all right to lose to an opponent. It's not all right to lose to fear. It's kind of cool. There was a load of scenery chewed in this and spat out.
Oh my god! Yes,
quite a lot of violence, blood. I thought
mostly by Thomas Ian Griffith.
So what do you think of this? What did you think, and what?
I put this about a 7 in terms of like the actual quality, but it's really a fun film.
It's really. I have to say, the more I watch it, the higher my ratings go. First time I watched it, I gave it a 6, and I thought, this is goofy but kind of intriguing. Each time I've watched it 4 times now in the last year and a bit, and now I'm on a 9. That's how much I like it.
Oh.
Yeah. But I recognise it's, stupid. But I just love it. Unfortunately, Daniel LaRusso's character changes from quite likeable to really annoying.
Yeah.
In this one, yeah.
We watched the Riff Tracks version as well.
We did watch
narration.
Yeah.
Comedy narration over it. It's like, the new karate technique of constant blabbering and hand waving.
Yeah. But the real breakout for me is Terry Silva is a great bad guy in this, really good bad guy. I would say if you're going to get the most out of Cobra Kai, and I'd say we recommend strongly watching Cobra Kai. It's very good. Watch these first 3 films. It will set you up much better, and you'll get so much more out of it. It'll be like a real pleasure. Oh, it's that guy. He's come back to do this, or it's her, or a lot of characters come back in Cobra Kai, and I guess we'll try not to spoil Cobra Kai too much. We'll see, right? We'll see. Okay, so we got 2 more to cover. We're going to do these fairly briefly, right? Because they don't really relate to Cobra Kai. We watched the next Karate Kid, which was basically No More Ralph Macchio. Mr. Miyagi is basically an old war buddy who's died, a granddaughter who's having problems. Hilary Swank's in this. She plays what's the character's name? Julie San. Hilary Swank's in it, and the bad guy is Michael Ironside as the Colonel. And there's a few other.
There's the Johnny equivalents. There's Ned. It's just, this whole film just doesn't sit right, except for a brief stint where they go to the monastery.
Yeah. This film sucked. Not because of Hilary Swank or Pat Morita. They were good.
No, they were good parts of this terrible film. It was the premise.
Everything was bad about it.
Sucks.
The first thing I noticed about it was the bullying had a distinct rapey vibe, because there was these big tough guys in the same outfits running around this school.
It had the same vibe as Grease, where it's like these guys are clearly about 30.
Yeah, they're too old. And they're kind of going, and this one keeps going, "Hey, Julie, why don't you be nice to me? Why don't you come down the docks?" This guy's obsessed with the docks. He keeps going on about going down the docks.
Yeah, it's really uncomfortable.
Yeah, it's really horrible. But the thing is, they're not very well. They're not Johnny Lawrence. They're
No.
not Chosen.
But the thing is,
they're not Terry Silver. They're not Bad Boy
I think
Barnes.
I said this to you when we were watching the film, but like with the original, with the Cobra Kais, they thought like might makes right, and they acted like that. These guys, their whole thing is then they're the school security. The guy
Which is
training
weird.
them, that's also weird. But the guy training them is like, you got to do what's right. You got to do this, that, and the other. You got to do, and then they're just rapists.
They're potential rapists, I should say.
Well, they attempted.
Yeah. Michael Ironside as the Colonel is Michael Ironside is always solid,
you
but
Michael
he
Ironside, yeah.
literally punches these what's supposed to be 17-year-olds in the face and puts them in chokeholds and all sorts in public view, and no one. It's like, what? Is he a teacher? We couldn't figure out. I've got to mention Walter Goggins is one of them, and it's funny seeing Walter Goggins this early on.
With the
and it would be amazing if ever he turned up in Cobra Kai. That would be amazing.
Yeah,
I can't see it happening. But yeah, I felt. You know what? I'm watching this. I was thinking, oh my god, I'm glad Hilary Swank, turned this around and won an Oscar and stuff, because I'd feel bad for her. She was good in this, and if this film sunk her career, that would be pretty bad. But it didn't. I'm glad to say. Yeah, like you say, the best for it was the Buddhist monks, right? Really?
Yeah,
they started dancing to the Cranberries at one point.
Yeah, there's a bit because it's this. Miyagi takes her out. She gets suspended from school for 2 weeks, I think it was. So Miyagi takes her to this Buddhist monastery in the middle of nowhere, and they go through this whole lesson. It's like, while you're on the premises, you respect their rules of like there is no killing, no death.
Yeah.
She goes through a whole arc of this, and then like she's just kind of milling about, listening to music and like warming up. The monks come in and start dancing to the Cranberries, and they clearly like it. And then Miyagi just joins in, and then she joins in as well. So bizarre.
Amazing. There's another bizarre scene that I really like with the monks, which is they're out in the town because they're not used to leaving the monastery. But Julie makes a wish that they come see her, and because it's her birthday, they agreed to do the wish. And they go to a bowling alley, meet a slightly racist bloke who says, "Don't disturb me when I'm bowling." And they start bowling, but they're like hitting tens,
they're hitting strike after strike after
and
strike.
Mr. Meg
with
is
their
like,
eyes closed.
It's Zen bowling.
Yeah.
And this racist bloke loses the bet and gives them money, and then they teach him how to Zen bowl, and he has an arc, right?
Yeah. but at the same time, like Julie's gone to prom, and there's just this weird, out of nowhere, for no reason bit where there's some bungee jumping.
Yeah.
That just kind of happens. They wreck a stand because I guess there was no way that they could tell that was below them in this fucking school hall. No way of seeing that down there.
And honestly,
so one of these guys just head swan dives through a thing like this sort of picture stand. And then when the designated boyfriend for this movie, what was his name, McGowan, walks up, is like, "You okay, man?" The Johnny Lawrence replacement, Ned, walks in. It's like, "How about you look after your own people?" It's like, what? What does that mean?
It's so weird. The thing is, we only watched it a few days ago, and I'm struggling to remember any of it. The monks is the bit I remember most. The end fight is mad, because they blow up McGowan's car.
Yeah, it's all about McGowan instead of.
And then they all start lame. Instead of it being a one-to-one fight,
they beat the shit out of him, and like the Colonel's like, kill him. It's like, what?
And they're out too, right?
And they're clearly like not having part of this, even though Hilary Swank beats the shit out of this Ned guy.
Yeah. And then Mr. Morita beats the shit out of Michael Ironside. And I have to say, the training stuff in this one was the lamest by far.
Yes.
There wasn't any. Basically, Mr. Miyagi, I guess Pat Morita was getting too old for this now. He was just telling her what to do, wasn't showing her. So there was a whole sequence of her jumping from one rock to another with a flying kick.
I did like it where it's like, okay, you can do wax on, wax off. Okay, take a leap from this rock to that rock, but I need you to turn your hips in midair, throw out a kick like this, and then land it. It's like, what? It's a bit of a jump.
Yeah. So not very good.
Yeah.
This has 7% on Rotten Tomatoes.
Yeah, it deserves that. So.
Yeah, it's really quite a poor film. And
we
honestly,
didn't even mention the hawk.
She's looking after a hawk with a broken.
She's looking after
wing.
a hawk that sounds like a tiny monkey. So
yeah, going, and a bloke's doing the sound of it.
Yes, Frank Welker, famous voice actor.
And I think it's, just there so Mr. Miyagi can say, only Hawk knows when it's ready to fly, and all this kind of stuff. But this was shit.
Yeah,
really. I felt generous when I rated this. I gave it a 3 out of 10. Really, that's the best, and I think I was generous. What would you give it?
Deep in my negatives. Well, I guess low in my negatives because the worst thing you can get is 0.
It was boring. That was the trouble. It was boring, right?
So boring.
3, whatever its flaws, is not boring at all.
No, there's always mental shit happening in 3.
Yeah.
This one is like,
this has some mental shit.
The mental shit that happens is just deeply uncomfortable.
Well, no, the monks is good. The monks.
Well, the monks that's not mental shit. It's just like, okay, this is fairly standard comedy of the time.
I'll tell you what would have really pulled this film back to me is if the monks had beaten up all the thugs, the rapey thugs. That would have been awesome, but it didn't happen. So what can you do? Not a good film. Avoid.
Yeah, don't watch it.
Right, so the last film on the list we're talking about is Karate Kid. It's not really a remake, is it? It's borrowing ideas.
No, it's a soft remake.
Yeah, so. And the title is wrong because it isn't karate. It's
doesn't learn karate. He learns kung fu.
And Jaden Smith and his mum moving to China for her work, I presume. I don't think it's ever stated.
Car factory is about as close as they get to it.
And Jackie Chan is Mr. Han, who's the job man.
It's the Miyagi replacement.
Yeah.
They do a lot of...
and this was an okay film. It wasn't a Karate Kid film, but it was an okay film. No. I quite like Jaden Smith as Dre Parker.
Yeah.
And
he was
which I kept
significantly
thinking,
less annoying than...
Isn't he one of the creators of South Park? But that's Trey Parker, is it?
No. He was significantly less annoying than every single other Jaden Smith performance I've ever seen.
Yes. He was good. And Jackie Chan's very good.
And that he was bearable.
What made me laugh is how much faster the fighting was in this, because it made karate look like it was slow motion, frankly. The kung fu in this was quite amazing. It had a number of problems, this film. The bad guys were really underdeveloped. Really underdeveloped.
You basically only saw them in the bully scenes.
Yeah.
So, they'd will literally step around the corner and start assaulting him. So.
Yeah. And also, they kind of had tried to put in a love interest, and that didn't really work either.
No.
It felt really forced and not quite... It didn't feel...
Yeah.
It was boring, basically.
Yeah. Also, this film was about half an hour longer than all the others.
2 hours, 20 minutes, this one.
Yeah.
I reckon a good 20 minutes could have come out of the travelogue and romance stuff.
Yeah. And as much as I liked the trip to the monastery...
The trip to the monastery was cool with the Cobra.
That was cool.
Woman. Yeah.
Kind of pointless.
Yeah. Scored by James Horner, this was kind of interesting. Overall, though, I kind of liked it.
It's a very pretty film. Even the scenes where it's set in dense urban sprawl in, I think it's Beijing. Yeah, Beijing. Still looks really good. Everything's shot really well. Or if it's not, it's a very deliberate action to be doing so. Yeah. The replacement for Mr. Miyagi's tragic, in Japanese internment camp backstory is equally bad.
Yeah,
it's equally miserable.
Yeah. But it informs him because he's very downbeat, isn't he, Mr. Han?
Low energy. Yeah.
Only when he's fighting does he actually come to life, it almost feels. And it kind of
He's
works.
got a very distinct slouch to him at all times.
Jaden Smith misery at being in China. He wanted to be at home. He didn't want to be in China. He was being bullied. He was trying to avoid being bullied. He wasn't complaining about it. He was trying to keep it from his mother because she would have kicked off, and things like that. And his bully, I mean, that kid was a really good at kung fu.
Yeah.
He was all right as well, but like I say, no real development. And the Crease replacement, no real development other than being an evil sod.
Yeah.
But it was kind of satisfying that all the students. Well, should we do
all the
spoilers?
students. Yeah.
Yeah. This is 2010. It's fine.
It's a 14-year-old film.
Yeah.
That not many people saw apparently. So.
Yeah. All the students leave him at the end and recognise Mr. Han as the superior. I mean, they don't use the words dojo and sensei, do they? Obviously,
no, because those Japanese terms. So.
But they bow as if he is the master. They
go to join Han instead of Lee.
It appears so. Yeah.
Yeah. It's kind of where it ends.
So I quite liked it, but it was a bit overlong, and it didn't have that Miyagi LaRusso energy at all.
Nah.
It was a different thing. Though I thought Jaden Swift did a great job in this. I really did. And apparently there is another film coming, which will star Jackie Chan again and Ralph Macchio. And I believe it's something like a kid from China is going to LA, right?
Yeah.
But I know that apparently Ming-Na Wen's cast.
Yeah, I can see it.
And also Jackie Chan and Ralph Macchio. And it was delayed somewhat because they didn't want it conflicting with Cobra Kai, the finale of Cobra Kai. So it's been delayed a little because of that. And, Cobra Kai's on its last season now. So then the film will be coming out next year, I believe, at some point. I'll go see it.
Currently slated for May 30th, 2025.
Yeah, I'm game. I'm game to see it.
Yeah.
I think it might be kind of cool. Right, which brings us to probably what we really want to talk about.
Yeah.
Cobra Kai. Now, I have watched this all before. This was the first watch through for you.
Yeah.
And if you remember rightly, I suggested we really should watch the first three films. And you quite liked the first three films, so it wasn't much of a chore, was it?
Yeah.
And then we got on. And we kind of, as soon as we started watching, because they're only half an hour an episode, or sometimes a little longer, but they're very, very easy episodes just to watch, one after the other.
They're spectacularly watchable.
Extremely watchable series. And there's 10 episodes, I think, so you can spend an afternoon watching the entire season and it doesn't feel like a chore whatsoever. So much happens. There's so much fun stuff. I mean, the weird thing is, when it came out, it's like, why would I want to see that? It's about Johnny. It's about Johnny. Why would I care to see that? But a friend reckoned it. Becky, who I used to podcast with on the X-Files and the Twin Peaks log, she kept recommending it to me, so I gave it a watch. But she did also insist I watch Karate Kid 3 before I started, because I hadn't seen it before. So she's the one that got me on the crack that is Karate Kid 3. And I'm so glad she did. I'm so glad she did. So there are 5 seasons. We're not going to go for it necessarily season by season. But what we could do is talk about what's the good and what's the bad, maybe. What do you reckon? Does that sound good? Yeah. Some of the things I love about it personally is I think William Zabka as Johnny Lawrence is excellent.
Yes. I love his weird sort of role as like this man that has not culturally advanced since the 80s.
He's a total fish out of water that's stuck in the 80s and he's... And the inappropriateness of what he says is really well handled in this, because it could be, ooh, but you just laugh because it's so ridiculous. And the reactions of his students, like, no senses.
It's clear. It's clear what he's saying is wrong.
Yeah.
Makes it okay.
And he kind of realises and turns it around sometimes, but a lot of the time he doesn't at all.
Yeah.
But he's not offending anyone in those scenes. He's just talking to himself or his students or something. For example, he starts going on about, I don't want any of this asthma and peanut allergy bullshit that you guys have made up. And like she was like, I'm pretty sure those are real sensei and things like that. And stuff like that. I mean, he's in a bad place when it starts, and this is kind of his story, isn't it?
It's more his story than Daniel LaRusso's.
Yeah, and weirdly, Daniel LaRusso comes across as a shithill in some of
through
this.
most of it.
Yeah, and it's weird because he's deliberately antagonising Johnny Lawrence, and these two cannot get along. They try.
God,
they
it's
do
so
try.
frustrating. Every time it's like, okay, we need to do this thing to get together. Give it about 5 minutes. 5 minutes, and it'll all gone to shit again.
So I think the MVP of the whole thing is William Zabka's Johnny Lawrence.
Yeah.
However, there's some. The other great thing about this show is how much cameoing they do and how well it works.
Well, it's not so much a cameo because they're like plot relevant. They're never.
Yeah,
it's never
that's
just
what I
like.
meant. That's what I meant.
It's never just like, oh, here's Alison Shu. Here's like here's the other characters. It's like, okay, this is like a significant thing that these characters are back. This is going to bring closure to like 4 separate storylines.
Yeah, indeed. The other great thing about it is I think that the writing is very clever because they have plot elements that happen that reflect stuff that happened in the first 3 films. So when they flash back to the first 3 films, you know, in some way, it totally works. It doesn't feel shoehorned or excessive. And that is charming as well, right? That is really charming.
Seeing Ralph Macchio's reaction to when when Johnny Lawrence's first student, who's called Miguel Diaz, walks in this exact same skeleton outfit that Ralph Macchio got the shit kicked out of him too.
Yeah.
You can see, like, he's just, oh no.
Yeah. And there's some great character development stuff in this. For example, there's a very quietly spoken, somewhat bullied kid who goes to Johnny Lawrence's class, and Johnny Lawrence immediately insults everyone who turns up, doesn't he? Yeah. Always. And sort of says, look, if you don't want to be called this, flip the script, right? Yeah. Take control. And it totally works with this guy, but then he becomes a shitheel. Then he learns not to be a shitheel. You know, and that's over 5 seasons. And there's really cool stuff in this. And it's kind of interesting that, Daniel LaRusso's got a family, and his daughter is central to some of the plotting. Johnny Lawrence has got a son, that's central to some of the plotting. There's lots of great things about this season. The weak stuff, I think, is there's a lot of teen drama and teen romance that feels like soap opera. Season 4 in particular had quite a lot of this. I will say, though, in my opinion, every season starts with a bang and ends with a bang. So you are, when you finish the season, you are more than satisfied with what's happened. But sometimes going through some of the episodes, it's like, there's not been much fighting here, has there? We haven't. Basically, when it's just the teenagers, it gets when they're not fighting, and there is a lot of fighting in this show, lots, right? And it's very choreographed. It's like, but when it's Daniel or Johnny Lawrence training stuff is usually the best bits, right? It's just unbelievable.
Whatever sensibleness you thought that Miyagi could have, Johnny Lawrence just is completely absent from him.
It's crazy.
So it just doesn't happen here.
Yeah.
So.
And like I'd say pretty much all the significant characters in the first 3 movies turn up at some point.
Yeah.
And some for quite significant time. Kreese is back. Silver does come back, for example. And it's a bit annoying when we were watching this. Yeah, but let's not talk about 6 at all. How about that?
Okay.
That's at least that's recent. The rest are, at least a few years old. But the thing is, Netflix kind of spoils it anyway, because when you put the season on, they show you pictures from season 4 of characters it's like, oh, he's in it. Or those people that are we're in season 2, are mortal enemies, are training together in that picture. Things like that, right? So Netflix spoils it for you too. Yeah, you're right. I should have mentioned spoilers. But if we don't talk about season 6, other than general feelings on it, I think that's okay. What do you reckon?
Yeah.
I'm just really taken with this show. This is the second watch through I've done. I am keen to watch the end of the last 10 episodes when they come out, because I believe there's 5 coming out in the 15th of November, and then the last 5, there's 15 episodes in season 6. It's not 10.
Yeah, slight change.
Sometime in spring, I think.
Okay.
And what I called this episode at the beginning, The Good, the Bad and the Badass, is actually from season 3, episode 8. That's its title.
Yeah.
And not only are there good fights between the kids, and they're brutal, there's some great fights among adults. I mean, season 4 and 5 is some amazing fights. I mean... Yeah,
we get a lot of... Well, I've also already detailed that Johnny and Daniel do not get along at all.
At all.
They fight a lot.
Yeah.
Like, so often.
And there's also some times where people that are arch enemies kind of have to be on the same page for, say, a tournament to go ahead.
Yeah.
And things like that. And I also like how Johnny Lawrence is always antagonistic towards Daniel. Though he does learn, he's got an arc, hasn't he, Johnny?
Yeah.
He has got an arc. He's definitely changing as a human being. But the old Johnny cannot help but punch its way out and start getting pissed off when it's not going, when things are like, no, this is too passive. We've got to do something about this. And I have to say, season 5 ended with they could have almost closed the show at that point, because loads of stuff tied up right at the end, apart from maybe one major plot point. But season 6 kind of opened them all up again when it's there's a bit of that. But we'll say no more. Yeah, so we got to be careful because I don't want to get into specific. I'd say if you watch season 1, episode 1 and like it, you're going to like the show. And if you don't like it, you're not going to like the show. It's kind of that straightforward.
It is fairly simple. So.
You get a definite... Johnny Lawrence is the main character in season 1, episode 1, and it's about him. And if you can get on board with what the trajectory is going... and season 1 is really almost like a Johnny finding himself again arc, isn't it?
Yeah.
With a slight undermining towards the end. And that's kind of cool. And also seeing his student... that's LaRusso Miyagi story going on there.
Yeah.
And it's really good. So, I don't know who they got writing it. Well, I do. I can look at the names. But they did a great job. They've managed to make it a fresh story that brings in all the elements of the first 3 films successfully, references them, and does some good stuff with that. And there's also some flashbacks from characters, we don't know. We get some of Creasy's backstory told from decades before. That's really interesting, I thought.
Yeah.
And they've done some stuff in a quite unusual way, because the actor playing John Creasy is pretty old now, but they've made him still effective and look scary and stuff.
There's a lot of cut to wide, and it's quite clearly not. But
but it works well. It's still kind of a threatening presence, isn't he? And even his character is changing as well, which is kind of interesting too. I do like, and LaRusso's character's changing as well. People kind of, there's proper character development in this, and each individual episode is very satisfying, but it's a Moorish show, right? It is a Moorish show. You watch one and you kind of just want to watch the next one. That's how it is. But because they're half an hour, it's usually, that's all right. Shows that are a bit longer, when they get to 45 minutes, you kind of, I don't want to watch 2 tonight. Do you know what I mean? But some nights we've ended up watching 5 back to back, haven't we?
Yeah, especially at the end of season 5.
So. There's, I think in terms of fights, the best so far as was final episode of season 5. They were amazing. There's some amazing stuff going on, but there's great fights all the way through. I really like the tournament fights at the end of season 1, for example. That they're really good too. So and there's some really nice character beats. I feel like the energy might be getting a bit lower in season 6, but it's been sufficiently weird that it keeps you intrigued. I think because season 5, it almost like everything tied up. they're kind of having to pull it apart again to create the
Yeah.
drama, aren't they? That's the thing. That's kind of the. But even so, it's still really entertaining. It's still really entertaining. Anything else you want to say about Cobra Kai?
Nothing much I can think to add.
It's
I can't
cast
think
well,
of
isn't
anything.
it?
Yeah, it's
I
all
even
really
like
well
The
cast.
secondary characters, like for example the cow salesman, I knew she's really good.
Yeah.
Cousin Louie, and things like that. And there's so many characters come back from the old days.
Yeah.
In a great, and you can't even call it fan service, because who was fans of the Karate Kid that's been waiting for it to come back? Right?
Who was holding out for the Ali Mills?
Yeah.
So.
Exactly, but it totally works, and it's totally charming, actually, in many ways. And Johnny Lawrence is, he doesn't know how to use the internet, and it's hilarious, and he says stupid things like hash brown instead of hashtag and things like that, and doesn't ever learn any better. And so, put the music on there, and they're saying, we haven't got the rights to that music. He goes, yeah, I own the rights. I've got it in a cassette in my car. Just does not understand how the modern world works. Oh, and there's also a constant recurring thing of him smashing up the TVs.
Yeah, he always breaks the TV somehow.
Breaks the TV somewhere. I think he's had 6 TVs in his apartment already. Yeah, as we've been watching it. So yeah, there is that. All right then, let's wind up. Well, all right, so Cobra Kai. I don't know. Should we rate this? I mean, we made it clear.
I mean, it's still ongoing. Yeah, still. Just watch it. Like watch all the first 3 Karate Kid movies. Then watch this.
Don't watch next Karate Kid. Do not bother.
Yeah, it doesn't tie into this so far.
No, though it might. You never know. Something might crop up in season 6.
Yeah,
but I still wouldn't bother. And the Jada Smith one is a separate entity, though. As we said, it's kind of tying Mr. Han and Daniel LaRusso tying up in the next film somewhat. So,
so maybe I don't know.
Yeah. All right then. Okay, let's wind it up there. So bye from me.
Bye.